guys, Dave here, JDH Reptiles. Today's video, we're going to put together a handful of the questions that you guys have been asking me. The last video I put up on Saturday, I made a comment for you guys to leave questions down in the comment section. Multiple people did, so I'm going to address those questions today. So, I didn't write down who requested what question, but if you hear your question, then you know that this is for you. Of course, all this is information that hopefully some more people will find helpful and interesting. So let's go ahead and jump into this. Before we do, just want to say like and subscribe, share the video if you haven't already, and if you would like to know either something from me or some help on something, or would like me to address something in a video, leave that in the comment section down below. And I'm going to try and put together like a weekly video to help address your guys' questions in the future. Try to do this like once a week. So why don't we jump right into this? Alright, so the very first thing I noticed was someone asked, how do we document our pairings? So for right now, we are using Reptile Scan. So there is an app, and now I purchased this app, I want to say about 4 years ago, and at that time it was $24.99. It's on Android. It's called Reptile Scan, and for $24.99, if you buy the app on your phone, it was a one-time fee, and I could also log in on the computer, like my laptop, and still have access to all the features as well. You can use it for, you know, storing your animals' information, like their, you know, hatch date, photos, feeding, defecation, you know, whatever else you want to do. Really, I just use it for, you know, cataloging. You know, we can make name cards with them. By the way, these name cards are through Clutch, and I'll get to that here in a moment. But you can do name cards through them. So I would normally, if I purchased an animal or we produced an animal, I would put them in there. If we produced it, I would tag them back to the parents, the sire and the dam, and then I would put their hatch date, and I would usually log the first feeding or two, and then from there I can write down if I sell them, what I sold them for, and so on and so forth. But what's nice is they have a QR scanner, so I literally could go up to the tag, I could scan it, I could pull up that animal, I could do like a pairing, so I could go introduction, scan the female, and it would say that I introduced this male to this female on this date, and I would save it. And then later when I check them if they're locked, I literally go up to the male's tub, I would scan it, and I would click on breeding, I'd go to the female's tub, I'd scan it, and it would say that the male is breeding said female that date, and I would save it. So it was really nice to have all that information that I could go back to at any time. It keeps all the records, it keeps the clutch information. As long as I put the information in, it's there. So every introduction, every separation, every lock, ovulation, prelation, whatever I wanted to add, it's all on here, on the app, or on the website. So Reptile Scan. Now, I do own that for the $24.99. Again, it was a one-time fee. I do own it. I use it now just for breeding. So I do put in animals into it. Like, you know, I catalog new animals, whether it's new animals we purchased or animals we're holding back that we produced, just so if I'm still using this when breeding comes for said animal, I can scan and whatnot. I actually don't have a scan anymore because I've changed all of the name tags from the Reptile Scan name tags to the Clutch name tags, but I can still go into the app or go into the website and pick on the male, pick on, you know, whether it's introduction or breeding or separation, click on the date and save it. So I have the male, the female, and all the info for that. Now with Clutch, we decided to invest into the Clutch because I believe this is going to be the future for the up and coming and the tech savvy breeders. It's really nice because you can take your male and female, you can have an incubator. On that incubator you have all your clutches listed there in your incubator. When those clutches come out, you hatch them, and then you can put in all your animals. If you're going to do any shed testing, if those animals are in your system, you could click those animals directly and order shed testing for said animals. And I think if more and more breeders get on using the clutch system, as we sell them to other breeders or other people using clutch, we actually should be able to take that animal, pull it out of my inventory, sell it, and then pick the breeder it went to, and all that information will transfer to them. Now, I'm not 100% sure if that is in the works or if it's already there because I haven't used that portion, but I know like a year and a half ago when I talked to Justin about this originally, that was the plan for this. And I believe he's in the process of doing a breeding section, hopefully something like the reptile scan where I'll be able to scan it, put in the information, scan the female, and save it, because I really would like to get to just use one. And it would be nice to go back to scanning animals instead of typing everything in. But regardless, this we're on the hook for. We like it a lot. I want to say for a year it's $350 or something like that, $315, which is really cheap. I mean, it sounds like a lot, but for 12 months, it's really cheap. And I think it's way worth it if you actually use it and use it to document all your information. So that's how we document our pairings. I also have a whiteboard right here. I'm going to turn the camera. That whiteboard right there. So what that does for me is when Jamie and I, when we sit down and we write down our pairings, so we talk about all of our pairings up front. We come down here together, we'll write down all of our males that are breed ready or breeders. We'll write down all of our females that are breed ready or breeders. And then we go upstairs and we talk, and this usually takes 2 weeks. You know, we discuss what male or what female would we like to pair a male to, you know, where would we have a backup, what project do we want to work with that female and male, etc. So we can really kind of hone in what we want to do. And in that process, we also start looking online through Morph Market and through Facebook and Instagram and see what other people have done in this project, because we don't want to chase someone else's dream. We want to chase our own. So it's nice to see what people have done with certain projects. That gives us an idea of where we could go with that project, but changing it and making it our own. So once we figure out what our pairings are going to be, I pull up the whiteboard again and I'll write down the male and the females we're going to put to it, the next male, the females are going to put to it, and so on and so forth. So this is like a quick cheat sheet for me. When I come in here on Saturday, because Saturdays is when I pair, I can look up there and say, okay, that ivory, possible acid, spot nose, pastel male is going to go to this clown female. They last locked, because I write down my locks. Not only do I put it on here, but I actually write it on the board so I know what date it is. And I always want to go 4 weeks, so a month before I introduce them again once they've locked. So I can look at that and say, okay, I look at the calendar, I go back and see how long it's been, and then I know whether or not I can pair them or if I have to wait. If it's time to pair them, I check the male, make sure he isn't in shed. If he isn't, I go into the female's tub, make sure she got water, make sure everything's clean. I introduce the male, I get out my reptile scan, I put all the information in, and I move on to the next one. But that's a real nice cheat sheet to have, so I don't have to pull this out every second. I can really just start right there. I can look at any time and see, you know, like on Thursday or Friday, what am I going to pair this week? What males are due to put in with what females? So that's how I do the pairings here. That's how Jamie and I set up our pairings, and that is how we catalog the pairings. So that was a great question. I know that took a lot of explanation, but I wanted to make sure it was very thorough. Let's jump into the next one. I was asked about the Tri-Stripe project and where we're going to take that. So our Tri-Stripe project, it started around with the animals we purchased. In the very beginning, we purchased an albino 100% het Tri-Stripe male, an albino 100% het Tri-Stripe female, and a female, I think she was 100% het Tri-Stripe past het albino. So we put a little size on them. We waited until the first year. We paired that male to both those females, and we received an albino Tri-Stripe from the double het. So it proved her as het albino, and we got an albino Tri-Stripe. And then from the other one, we received an albino Tri-Stripe out of that one as well. So our process has been around the albino Tri-Stripe project. However, we made a dreamsicle last year, and that was not supposed to happen. Just a dreamsicle, not a Tri-Stripe dreamsicle. But once we did that, we realized we really wanted to work the lavender stuff, even though I was so against it for all these years. But I wanted to work the lavender stuff. So we actually are pulling away from the albino project and the candy project and the candinos. So we've sold the majority of all of our albino, candy, and candino stuff just to work lavenders. Now, I did sell the male, the albino het Tri-Stripe male, but I did keep the females because obviously they're breed ready and they're both het Tri-Stripes. So we purchased a lesser Tri-Stripe male. He was just a baby. This is his first year, and with all due, hoping he does well, that is where he's going to go. He's going to go to both the albino het Tri-Stripe female to hopefully make some Tri-Stripes and lesser Tri-Stripes, and he's going to go to the double het to make hopefully lesser Tri-Stripes and normal Tri-Stripes. We are also going to pair him to this girl, which is an Orange Dream Vanilla Yellow Belly. So we want to add some more color to the project, but we don't want to really screw up the idea of a Tri-Stripe. So there's going to be some other, incomplete dominant genes will eventually work into it, but we want to make sure that it doesn't interfere with the fact that it's a Tri-Stripe. Except for one, Jamie and I have talked about doing dreamsicle Tri-Stripe stuff. So once we have an albino Tri-Stripe female up here who was hatched out in 2022. So next season, not this season, but next season when she's up to size, I believe we're going to put our dreamsicle male to her to make, well, technically what would be quadruple hets. So they would be albino, lavender albino, pied, Tri-Stripe, all normal, 100% quad hets. And I think we're going to try and do lavender Tri-Stripes and dreamsicle Tri-Stripes. We're also thinking about putting the Tri-Stripe into clown, or clown and DG, something like that. Now, how we're going to do that, it won't be this season, I don't think, but it will be probably next season. So we're hopefully going to have a real nice powerhouse male that we can put to one of these females and move that project forward. So that's kind of where we're going at the moment. Adapting color this year, trying to make some normals. Though the one, from the one female, everything will be 100% het albino, but we're not going to work that side of the project anymore. But it will be something, if you're interested, you'll be able to buy from us that's 100% het and go from there. I see I'm going to need a battery. Let me switch those out real quick. All right, and we're back. So, I have two more things to hit on. I think we're getting close to 15 minutes because I ramble so much. So I'm going to definitely hit one of them and see where we can go with the second one. So, the quick and easy one. Someone made a comment and asked me what I would pair with their male banana fire pas het pied. So it's 50% het for pied, or possible het for pied. Honestly, the first thing I would do is I would spend the $65 and I would shed test that animal and see if it's actually 100% het pied or if it's not het pied, because that would change the direction I would take that male completely. I believe recessives are the future. Anything you make that is not a recessive, I think there'll be a pet market for it for sure, but it's not going to be a valuable market as far as making a higher dollar on the animal. So if you're looking to just make something cool, that's fine. But if I found out that the Banana Fire male was not het for anything, I would probably sell it or just not use it as a breeder. And I would buy a male visual recessive, whether it be clown or pied or, you know, whatever interests you. Lavender, tri-stripe, sunset, whatever, DG. But I would buy my male as a visual, because that male can go to multiple females and make 100% hets. Or if the females are hets, you can make visuals, and whatever you miss on, you'll know it'll be 100% hets. But the male being the visual can go to multiple females in that year, and you could spread those genes out a lot easier. So that's what I would do first. If it was het for pied, I would use it in a pied project, and I would stick to color, because the big reason why we pushed pied away here, I mean, we have a couple. We obviously have dreamsicle stuff, but we sold some of our pied stuff because as much as I love pieds, and I really love pieds, they're almost impossible to tell what they are. I know a lot of people, a lot of the bigger breeders, you know, they'll produce a pied and they'll tell you this is a OD leopard blackhead, blah blah blah, you know, black pastel, it's got red stripe, it's got this. I think it's all guessing. I'm not saying they're not right. I'm not saying that they haven't seen them enough to where they're getting better at figuring them out. But you're only going to be able to tell that if you've got a lot of pattern. But the pied pattern, the aberrant pattern of pieds, is so overwhelming that you're not getting any of those like black pastel, pattern. That red stripe, you might get some of that coloration or a little of that flaming, but that's about it. You're not going to get anything that's going to scream that's red stripe. You know, there are certain keys for looking at, like say yellow belly, how it gives the edging around the saddles. But what if you only get one saddle? What if it's high white? You have no idea what the thing is. And I find it very hard to sell people animals that I have no idea what they are. So if I do that, you know, all I can say is it's a pied, possible, blah, 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 and it's $200. That seems like a waste of a clutch to me. So we've decided to push the pied stuff away. So being this is a Banana Fire, you should be able to tell if it's fire. You should be able to tell if it's banana. You know, I would probably pair it with maybe yellow belly. You know, other orange dream would probably be nice. Leopard is pretty decent. You can kind of find leopard and pieds pretty easy. Enchi brings a lot of pattern into pieds. That's probably a way I would go as well. But I would stay away from those pattern changing stuff like black pastel, cinnamon, lorry, cypress, you know, all that kind of stuff. I'd probably stay away from those genes, because I think you're going to have a lot of pieds that are going to come out. You're not going to be able to tell whether they have them in there, and you're going to be giving away free stuff. So, or you're going to hold back stuff that you think will probably be what it may be and be completely wrong. So I got one left. It's about egg boxes and how I set them up, how I build humidium. We're going to save that one for the next video. So next week sometime I'm going to do another video with your questions. So if you have questions that you'd like answered, leave those down below, and I'm going to take a list, I'll collect that list, and I'm going to do another video next week on your questions. But that's going to do it for today. I'm going to try to put another video out yet this week still on updates with the collection, some of the breeding, etc. You guys take care. I appreciate you stopping by. Check all of our links down below. Facebook, Instagram, Morph Market, and our Patreon. We got a couple weeks left before we open up the Patreon pairing for 2024. You need to be at one of our Patreon in the Patreon pairing tier or better before the 1st of January, or by the 1st of January. If you add on to our Patreon after the 1st of January, you will not be eligible and in the running for the Patreon pairing. So, you've been warned. Any questions, leave those down below. If you'd like me to reach out to you on anything, leave that down below as well, or you can email me, jdhreptiles@gmail.com. Until next time, thank you very much for swinging by. I appreciate it. We'll see you on the next one.